Hi, my name is Laura Egan O'Brien and I'm the Marketing Manager for the College of Engineering and Architecture here in UCD. I want to sincerely welcome you to the UCD Open Day. I hope you find it useful and it helps you on your journey to discover what you want to study at university. For our engineering talk today, we have College Principal and Dean of Engineering, Professor Aoife Ahern, who's going to give you an overview of our undergraduate engineering course, the kind of subjects that it covers, the various disciplines that we offer, and the exciting career opportunities that are available from this degree. We also have graduate Michael Connolly, who's going to talk to you about his UCD experience of studying mechanical engineering. So I'm going to hand you over now, first to Professor Aoife Ahern.
Hello and welcome to the UCD Open Day and to the world of engineering at UCD. My name is Professor Aoife Ahern and I'm the College Principal and the Dean of Engineering here at the College of Engineering and Architecture, and today I'm going to talk to you about engineering and more particularly about studying engineering at UCD. So the first thing we're going to talk to you about today is a video that shows you the breadth of engineering, the kind of jobs that you can have there, the highlights of the role, the discipline, and the impact that you can have as an engineer in the world. So we'll take a few minutes now to let you look at that video.
Will you come with me?
Across bridges and railways.
To feel the Atlantic's wave power.
To brave new worlds.
From the rudder to the engines.
To making monsters.
These things are there for me and you.
From purifying water with reverse osmosis.
To stopping cells dying.
From apoptosis.
Multiplayer.
Online.
Gaming.
Clearing minds. And saving lives.
These things are there for me and you.
Chartered engineers, bringing dreams to life for me and you.
So the video has shown you what engineering is and the wide range of roles that you can have as an engineer, the impact you can make as an engineer. But why would you study engineering at UCD? And I think there's a number of reasons you might do that. UCD Engineering is one of the best ranked, the most highly ranked engineering schools in the world. What we can offer you as an engineering student is a world-class education. And very importantly, we offer the most diverse range of engineering subjects to our students coming here. So by coming to UCD, you're not limiting yourself in terms of the disciplines that you might engage in or study when you want to become an engineer. There's other aspects of our engineering program which I think again make us very interesting, exciting and unique. We have links with major employers across all disciplines. We have opportunities to engage in internships in big companies around Ireland and abroad. You can study abroad, and we have access to non-engineering modules through UCD Horizons. Again, something that's very attractive to many of our students. I mentioned the wide range of disciplines that we have in UCD Engineering, and I think this slide shows you what those options are and how wide-ranging they can actually be, ranging from biomedical engineering to civil, electrical engineering, energy systems engineering, right through to structural engineering with architecture. So really the world is your oyster when you choose to do engineering in UCD. Now, what do you need to do in order to come here to get to engineering at UCD? Well, the points last year were 565 points, and not everyone at that level got in. The previous year, they were 521. But I would be aware that the last Leaving Cert was a little bit different to normal, so please look back at what the points have been over the last few years. Very importantly, though, you should also look at the subjects that you need for engineering and make sure that you've made the right choices in your Leaving Cert if engineering is a career that you want to do. So you need English, Irish, and mathematics with a minimum of H4, and you also need a laboratory science. And the sciences that we accept are physics, chemistry, biology, agricultural science, and 2 other recognised subjects. So if you come to do UCD engineering, what is it that you can expect in terms of the structure of the programme, the course that you do? Well, very importantly, in our first year, we have a common first year for engineering. And that's really important because it gives you an opportunity to find out what the different engineering disciplines are and to make the right choice for yourself. As I showed you earlier, we have a very wide range and diverse range of engineering disciplines. And as a student in 5th or 6th year at school, it's difficult to know which one of those is the real engineering discipline you want to go into. So we think this common first year is extremely important for students. In first year, you'll have modules in mathematics, chemistry, physics, and in the different engineering disciplines. A very important part of first year is to get everybody up to speed in the different subjects. So some students will be coming here with physics, some with chemistry, some with biology. And in first year, we're trying to make sure that all our students get to the same level in those subjects of physics and chemistry and mathematics before they move on into second year. At the end of first year, you move into second year, where you make your choice of pathway, and you choose one of the engineering pathways, which are biomedical, chemical and bioprocess, chemical with a biochemical minor, civil, electrical, electronic, mechanical, or structural engineering with architecture. And in your third year, you have the option to study abroad. You make another choice at the end of your third year, and that's whether you're going to stay with us for 4 years doing a BE, or whether you're going to stay with us for 5 years doing an ME. And as part of the ME, you will also do an internship in that part of the program. As you progress through the program, you specialize further, and you'll see that on this slide here, that the disciplines become more specific and more detailed and deeper in terms of the knowledge that you're going to learn. So how do you learn at university, and what is different about that to the way you might have learned at secondary school? So obviously, one very important part of learning at university is lectures and attending those lectures. And what you'll find there is that's where the knowledge is imparted to you, where you get the information and the fundamentals about what you're doing in engineering. You will also engage in laboratories, and they are an extremely important part of being an engineer, no matter what discipline you choose, because that's where you learn how to conduct experiments, how to take measurements, how to analyze data, and how to understand and assess that kind of data. We also, through those laboratories, teach you how to communicate your results, how to present those, both to other technical experts, but also maybe to a lay audience. Other aspects of how you might learn in UCD would include tutorials. That's where you get to work in smaller groups, looking at problems with a lecturer or a teaching assistant, and design exercises. And they're extremely important in terms of working on groups on real-world exercises. And finally, project work, again, which is where you work in groups, looking at projects, looking at real-world problems from the engineering world. So let's move on and look at some of the different disciplines that you might study if you were here in UCD. So the first I'm going to talk to you about is the School of Civil Engineering and what civil engineers do. So what civil engineers do are responsible for planning, construction and maintenance of structures as they relate to water, earth, civilization. What does that really mean though? So what civil engineers do is they plan, design, maintain and operate infrastructure. And infrastructure includes water and environmental systems, transport systems, energy systems, the buildings, the bridges that you see around yourself. Engineering is a very diverse discipline that's become much more technical over time, with engaging with electrical and electronic engineers in developing sensors in terms of monitoring and looking at how buildings work. And again, as you will see with all of the engineering disciplines, there's an emphasis on sustainability and making sure that we do things and develop our infrastructure in a way that is sustainable. Also within the School of Civil Engineering, we have structural engineering with architecture. Now, structural engineers are engineers who specialise in building. They are civil engineers, but with an emphasis on building buildings, bridges, structures. Here in UCD, in structural engineering with architecture, what we also put an emphasis on is making sure that our structural engineers graduate with an understanding of what architects do. Structural engineers will always work very closely with architects, and it's important that they know how to work with them and how to understand what architects want them to do. And so we have put a huge emphasis on getting them to do modules and work on projects with our architectural students here in UCD. Another discipline that you might choose to study here in UCD is biomedical engineering. Now you'll see here that biomedical engineering doesn't sit in one particular school, but actually spreads across two schools, the mechanical and our electrical and electronics school. What is biomedical engineering? This is a type of engineering that's a little bit newer maybe than civil engineering, which some of you might not have heard of before. And it means applying traditional engineering methods and techniques to solve problems in biology and in medicine and advanced healthcare. It's a really important part of engineering, looking at how engineering principles, how the work that we do as engineers might be used to develop new medical devices, research for materials for prosthetics, etc., and look at developing technologies that can help with health problems. In Ireland, this is an extremely important industry, with some of the largest biomedical device industries being located in this country. And I think it's fascinating when you start to look at the statistics here of how many medical devices are actually made in this country. Approximately 80% of heart stents are actually made in Ireland. One of our largest schools is our School of Mechanical and Materials Engineering. So what do mechanical engineers do? Mechanical engineers work with design, manufacture, operating and testing of components, devices and systems. And much like our civil engineers, a lot of the emphasis of what they do is based on sustainability. They work in developing new energy systems and alternative energy systems, something which is extremely important in today's world. Looking at robotics in industry, again, looking at medical devices and areas like that. And what we maybe more traditionally associate with mechanical engineers, looking at how engines can be used to make cars go faster, but also move more sustainably. Our other very large school in the college is the School of Electrical and Electronic Engineering. Now, within that school, there's two main areas of study, or two main disciplines that we can look at. The first is electrical engineering. Electrical engineering is looking at how we use electricity on the generation, transmission, and final use of the electricity that powers our world. And that's becoming so important nowadays as we look at how can we use energy more efficiently, how can we create energy more efficiently, and what can we do to ensure that we have the right amount of energy for the future. Electronic engineering, on the other hand, is looking at the design of circuits and systems that underpin the ongoing revolution in mobile communications, internet, and digital media. And electronic engineering, as many of you will know, has been extremely important to Ireland over the years in terms of industry, in terms of jobs, in terms of what we create in this country, with many of the largest tech companies, communication companies, and gaming companies being located in Ireland. So the job opportunities in this area are really vast. Moving on then to our School of Chemical and Bioprocess Engineering. Again, an area that you may not know as much about as you do some of the others. What chemical and bioprocess engineers are interested in is transformations. So looking at transformation of crude oil to petrochemicals, or conversion of intermediaries to pharmaceuticals. In Ireland, I think it's fair to say most of our chemical and bioprocess engineers work in medical area. And again, this is a huge area of importance in this country and internationally, with some of the largest biopharmaceutical companies being located in this country and a huge amount of job creation being associated with this area. Again, an area that's very topical because chemical and bioprocess engineers would have been closely involved with the development of vaccines, including the COVID vaccine over the last few years. So if you come to UCD and you can do one of these exciting and interesting disciplines and decide to take on one of those exciting and interesting disciplines, what other things can you do here in UCD? Well, something that we're very proud of and which many of our students take up is to take a year abroad or a semester abroad. And that can take place in year 3. As you can see from the map, there are lots of opportunities and we have partnerships with universities all over the world, including the US and Australia. And many of our students love to take part in the opportunities that this offers them, including the opportunity to engage with different cultures. For those of you who don't study abroad, we also have a lot of students coming from these countries to UCD to study engineering and spend time here. So even if you don't travel yourself, you will have ample opportunity to mix with students from lots of different backgrounds and from lots of different international areas. We also arrange for our ME students internships and work experience, and that takes place during the ME program. We help develop to set you up with the interviews. The internships themselves take 6 to 8 months, and they're with some of the most highly recognized and exciting companies in the engineering area. And last year, all our students secured internships. Often the companies use these internships like an extended interview. So you have 6 to 8 months to learn from them, but also to impress them. And many of our students are offered jobs from these companies when they finish a year later. So who employs UCD engineering graduates? Well, as you can see from this slide here, there's a huge number of companies that employ our graduates, not just from the area of engineering, also from the area of banking, accounting, etc. The kind of skills you learn as an engineer, the problem solving, the numeracy skills, the communication skills will stand to you in many, many careers. UCD engineering is a wonderful opportunity. We have a very wide range of degree courses, as I've mentioned several times. Our degree courses are accredited by the professional institutions. The academics that we have working here are leading academics engaged in cutting-edge research, and our teaching is research-led. So that research is brought into the classroom. There are opportunities to study abroad, both in the US, Europe, Australia, etc. And we have excellent employment prospects with very, very high earnings for our students. One of the best paid graduate jobs. And as I said already, we organise an internship for you during the ME programme, which will really stand to you when you start to look for jobs yourself when you graduate. And then why UCD? In addition to all those opportunities that engineering offers, UCD is an exciting and vibrant campus with lots of clubs and societies and with lots of supports in place for students as they make their way through the programme. So the final thing that I would like to do is remind you of our Engineering Open Evening, and that will take place on the 11th of January. You can register for that, and I'd ask you to do that as soon as possible. Students and parents are welcome, and it's a really, really good evening to come in, to meet with different academics, and to find out a little bit more about the engineering programme.
How's things, guys? My name is Michael. I'm a fifth year mechanical engineering student here at UCD, and I'm going to give you a presentation about what the engineering student experience is like here at UCD and why you should come study engineering here. So first thing, it's a little bit of background on me. I done my Leaving Cert in 2016, and yeah, I noticed when I was going through school, I had a lot of interests in stuff like cars, airplanes, motorcycles. I noticed in school I was really good at subjects like maths, physics, and applied maths. And I wondered, what am I going to study when I go to college? Like, what sort of brings this together? So at a time, I thought I was going to study something like maths. But then one of my friends suggested, have you looked at engineering? And that kind of got me thinking, I didn't know too much about it. And then I looked into it and I realized that this is actually something that's very me, and it's very in line with what I like. And so, yeah, I went on to study engineering, and it turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made. So that's just something to be very aware of, that them subjects and those interests all lined up very well for a career in engineering for me. So yeah, why would you want to study engineering? So you've kind of decided, okay, maybe engineering's for me, but why study engineering? So that if you see yourself as some sort of a creator or a problem solver, engineering is an ideal degree for you because you can build on them skills and you refine them a lot more than what they are now. I know myself coming in, I always fancy myself as someone who loves problems and I love solving them. And the skill set that I gained from my engineering degree has just really brought on those skills to a very high level. Another reason would be, if you see yourself down the line of becoming an entrepreneur or wanting to set up your own business, the skill set that you gain from engineering, just the way you think through a problem, there is a thing out there that is the engineer's mindset, the way you take a big problem and you break it down to smaller and smaller pieces until those pieces are manageable for either you to solve or you to delegate work for someone else to do. So it's you take a big problem and break it down. And that's a mindset and a skill that is transferable to all careers, and that's why engineers are employable in so many different industries. Just the degree, definitely, it's one of the most well-rounded you can get. As I said, you can just move into just about anything, and just your contribution to society as well. Everything, if you just look around, you can be sure that an engineer has had something to do with the product in front of you, either the design, the testing, checking it for safety. Just there's endless amounts of contributions that you make to society as an engineer, and it's definitely something that you'll find really rewarding as a career path to go down. So yeah, and in terms of compensation as well, as an engineer, you're usually very well paid. You'll start off with a very good salary, and as the years go on and progress, you'll make quite a considerable bit of money, depending on how much experience you can put together. So definitely, you can expect to be well looked after as an engineer, and so you'll always find something, some career path to go down in engineering that you'll find interesting. Every day that you go into work, you'll be tested, and you'll find something that get you thinking, and you'll love your daily work as an engineer. So studying at UCD, why study engineering at UCD? Well, it's a fantastic campus. It's one of the biggest campuses you'll get outdoor in Europe. It's just a beautiful place to study your college. The students that are here, we've one of the biggest campuses in Ireland, our student population and the societies that we have here. So definitely, if you're looking for to make a lot of friends when you come to college and really feel that college experience, UCD is definitely a place that you'll find value in it. Another thing that will be is the standard of education that you receive here at UCD in terms of world rankings. Like it's second to none. What I've learned and picked up as my time here, it's been fantastic, and I really would not have studied engineering anywhere else now. Looking back on it, it really done it for me here. And finally, I'd say just in terms of employability, like I know all my peers now, we're all like, it's really easy to find work when we finish college, and just the job opportunities, like even on LinkedIn and stuff, like you're getting messages from employers just saying, you know, would you consider this position? Because I have down on my LinkedIn that I'm a final year mechanical engineering student in UCD. So definitely employability is not going to be an issue when you leave UCD with your engineering degree. And yeah, just the campus, it's just fantastic. And just over the years, I've just gotten a real fine appreciation for it. So how does it work when you come in to UCD and the engineering route that you'll take? So your first year will be a general year. It's called the Omnibus. You'll kind of touch on all sorts of engineering degrees, mechanical, chemical. And then in second year, then you'll specialize. And then you'll become, so in second year, I decided I wanted to be a mechanical engineer based on my interests and the sort of how I've got on in first year and what I liked and what I didn't like. And yes, that's what you do in second year. You decide what you are going to do for the rest of the years. And you, on your CEO, when you come to UCD, you'll be signed up for a 4-year BE program. So that's a Bachelor of Engineering, that's a level 8. But what you can do here, which is what I done, is you can do this +1 every year, and you can work towards your Masters of Engineering, which is an ME. And it's fantastic the way that you can do that. So you just do this extra year and you get a master's from that. So I graduated there. Well, I'm set to graduate with a Master's of Engineering and a BSc as well for my first 3 years. So it's definitely something that's of great benefit to have when you're going out there looking for a job, the Master's. So definitely have it in the back of your head. But I know when I came in, I just had planned on doing the 4-year at the BE. So yeah, what's a week like in engineering? So you're talking about 10 to 20 hours of lecture time, which, you know, you might say is quite a lot. You might feel sometimes that there is quite a high workload when you might be comparing it then to some of your friends as well. They might have as many hours in lecture hours, but you have to think, you know, the skill set that you're developing and the sort of problems that you're learning to solve and the skills that you're getting, your friends probably aren't getting that because of the less hours that they're putting in. So that work is going somewhere. You have to remember that. And in terms of, like we'd say, you'll do a lot of practical laboratories and report writing. You'll work on your professional writing. I know when I came in first year, my writing, you know, it was at a decent standard. I was more of a mathematical, numerical person. But over the years, I've become quite a good writer. And definitely my professional writing is at a very good standard over the years. Definitely has developed. And yeah, so as I said there, I did want to study maths. That's what it was going to be at the beginning before I learned about engineering. I love maths, and so definitely at doing an engineering degree, you'll do a lot of maths and you'll work on those math skills a lot. So you will get a lot of maths modules. Like I think every semester there was a maths module. So you'll definitely get a good exposure to that. So yeah, and in terms of the way the master's works, in your 4th year, you'll do a little bit of placement. And the way the placement will work, you'll go off to a company for a few months and you'll earn money from the majority of your placements, which is fantastic. And you get to see what industry is like before you graduate in 5th year. And then your 5th year is your thesis. You'll spend most of your year on your thesis. You'll be doing a lot of modules with it as well. What I'm doing is I'm working on the aerodynamics of trailers for electric vehicles specifically. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of, we're going to be all electric in a few years, and a lot of these cars can't really pull trailers that well. So my job is to come up with sort of an aerodynamic shape for these trailers that's suitable for these vehicles. So it's quite interesting, and it's definitely something that I'm enjoying doing at the moment. So some of the projects that I've worked on over the time I've been here, this year is a project I worked on when I was in 3rd year. It's an aluminium can solar heater. What it does is it takes in cold air that's driven by, let's say, a fan, similar fan to what you'd see in a computer or something, and it drives the air in through the cans and comes out heated because of the solar energy from the sun heating the can. So it's a nice simple project. You know, it was nice working in a group, and it was just nice to kind of come up with a design and actually go and build that and practically implement it. And that was a very rewarding module. And it's just an example of one of the many projects that you'll work on here at UCD. So you can definitely, if you see yourself as a bit of a creator, you'll definitely get opportunities to explore that in modules when there's project work like this. This is another project here where this is my own idea for mechanical locks. This is very similar to what you'd see on a phone, and they're like the Android pattern lock. You'll unlock your phone, with like an S or an L or something like that. This is a mechanical version of that I designed at the end of second year and got it all 3D printed up in the college. So it just shows like the resources that are available to you. If you do have an idea for a project, there are academics there you can contact and they can work with you. And it's like a sandbox of all the resources that you've around with 3D printers and just the CAD design packages that I would have used to produce this. This slide here shows one of the more one of the more funnier projects that I would have worked on. This is coming up to Christmas time, maybe a couple of years ago. We were looking to upcycle phone boxes, and they're just sort of left around there. They're not really doing anything. And so in partnership with the Innovation Academy here in UCD, I worked on a way to upcycle these phone boxes. And my idea was, because we were coming to Christmas, to turn them into snow globes, huge snow globes, with an artificial snowman inside that would light up, snowflakes that would be blown around by fans inside, and loads of lovely LED lights on the outside, and people could sort of walk past them and take them in. And how, something that wasn't really doing anything like an old phone box is now something that's quite nice for the Christmas season. And so to test this out, I got onto Aircom and they delivered me a phone box. And as you can see here, they left it in probably the most not ideal spot ever. Some people might recognize that as down the main campus there outside the student centre. So it was a fair bit of work to actually get that out of there and where I actually wanted it to be. Another project, like there's just endless projects that you can work on, and it's like if you're really into design and creating stuff, this degree gives you that skill set. This was a project I done in my third year, and it was called Gyroshoe. It was a little device that you attach to the side of an elderly person's shoe who might be living at home and you're worried about them having a fall or something like that. So what they generally don't like to do is to have to wear a pendant, because it's you can feel it on your skin, and it's other people see that you're wearing it as well. There's a kind of stigma around that. The idea behind this project is can tell the orientation of a person's foot, so it's very different to when they're standing up and when they're on their side. And this product is just kind of the inside of your shoe there, as you can see. And I got a nice award there of Engineers Ireland for the idea for the innovative student. So it just shows like the skill set you have and the confidence you have from the degree it definitely sets you up for all this sort of project work in your spare time. So something I said I definitely mention as well is, in terms of extracurricular, was a job that I worked here for most of my years in UCD, and I still work it now. It's a residential assistant job. So it enables me to live on campus every year at a discounted rate, and you meet a lot of friends and you'll get up to a lot of fun activities with the residents. It's been a really valuable experience for me, and I've met a lot of nice people and met a lot of friends from it as well. So definitely, when you come to UCD, definitely look into these sort of societies and stuff that you can get up to, because that's how you meet people, and you'll meet people of, same interests and stuff, and you'll have a great time. This here now is a design for work. So as you could imagine, summertime comes and you're not in college. You might take on part-time work and stuff. And this is something that I would have done. I worked for a small engineering company back home in Mayo, and I done quite a lot of work for them in terms of design and CAD design for big pharmaceutical companies like Ahern, Baxter. And that's all down to, the skills that I've gained from my degree. So this one here is it's kind of a jig for testing the efficacy of the lids that you put on vials. And as you can see there, that's the CAD model. So I designed all that up. I was just given we need to hold the vial and we need to test it out. And this was the design I came up with. Another one here, this is for Ahern as well. And this is like a mixing unit for powder. And as you can see there, there's kind of holes there to let like a forklift or something come and lift it up when it's all connected up. And once again, that's just one of the designs I was able to make with my skills in technical drawing. Another one here, this is a platform for something that goes around a power unit in Pfizer, Newbridge. And as you can see there, there's quite a bit of detail in that. So it just shows the level of work that you can get up to. Even just, I was only maybe in third or fourth year then, not even the whole way through my degree. Another one here is just for picking up needles or the tops of syringes. So I made the thing there on the right that kind of picks them up. So bringing it back then to UCD, when I came into first year, you don't really know a lot of people here. I was from Mayo, so there was only a handful of people that came up from Mayo to UCD. So one thing that was really important to kind of get started and get to know new people was societies. And being an engineer now, the Engineering Society is definitely something you should join when you come to college. Other societies, like as I said, I have a big passion for gaming and competition like that. So I joined the UCD's Game Sock. I done a lot of boxing when I was younger, so done the boxing sport club here in UCD for up until third year. So that I met a lot of people from that. Had great fun as well. And in terms of the nights out as well, you'll definitely have if you join a good few societies, you'll be quite spoiled with all the nights out that you'll have and all the people you'll meet from them as well. And within the first few weeks there'll be Freshers Week when you come to college. So definitely don't be kind of stuck up in your room. Make sure you go out and learn about all these societies and sports clubs and join some of them, because it'll make your college experience a lot more beneficial. What I was saying there earlier on was about the job opportunities you get after graduation. So I've listed here just some of the companies that I can apply to, and I know my friends are applying to as well. And you can do internships in these companies. It's just endless the amount of places that have an open door for engineers. They're always looking for engineers, be it in the finance sector or pharmaceutical sector. Just everyone wants engineers because of the way you think, and it's just that problem solving ability. It's so transferable, and you can always put engineers to good use. So it's definitely something. It's definitely a degree that will set you up for a very good career in the future. My plans personally, when I finish college, is I probably will make a transition, say, to the financial sector. So it just shows I'm a mechanical engineer, but the math skills that I have and the problem solving skills mean that I could have, a very, very good time working as a financial engineer and as a trader, because of the way that I think and the way that I kind of think about something analytically. So that's just a perfect example of, you can sort of work wherever you want as an engineer. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and definitely I think engineering at UCD is a very valuable and very rewarding experience. Okay, thanks.
Thank you to Aoife and Michael for that inspiring talk, and I hope it gave you great insight into our engineering course here in UCD. If you do have questions, please head over to our virtual engineering stand, where we have staff and students ready to chat with you and answer your questions. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.